The notion that the CBC is essential in the fight against disinformation is a flawed narrative. While a noble goal, the idea that a government-funded broadcaster can be an unbiased arbiter of truth is inherently problematic. The CBC's funding structure and recent actions demonstrate a clear bias, underlining the need for a new approach to combating disinformation in Canada. The argument often used to defend the CBC is that American billionaires control social media platforms, leading to a significant influence over the information that reaches the public. These platforms, the argument goes, are awash in disinformation, fake news, and misleading content that can easily sway public opinion. The CBC, as a supposedly independent voice, is then presented as the antidote to this American-influenced information landscape, offering a more balanced and truthful perspective. However, this argument ignores several key points that are crucial to understanding the broader media environment. Firstly, it assumes that Canadians are incapable of discerning truth from falsehood without the guiding hand of the CBC, undermining the intelligence and critical thinking skills of the Canadian public. Secondly, it overlooks the fact that the CBC itself is not immune to bias, as all media outlets have their own perspectives and potential influences. The notion that a government-funded entity can be truly objective is a fallacy, as government funding can lead to subtle or overt biases in reporting. Recently, former CBC personality Andrew Cochrane presented a hypothetical scenario to illustrate this point. He argued that if the CBC didn't exist, Meta, formerly Facebook, would simply buy a Canadian media outlet and dictate the news, shaping public perception to its advantage. While this scenario might seem plausible at first glance, it ignores the fact that Meta would be subject to Canadian laws and regulations, which are designed to protect the integrity of the media landscape. Moreover, it assumes that Canadians would blindly accept news from a foreign-owned entity, discounting the diversity and resilience of Canadian media, which includes a variety of independent and trustworthy sources. The CBC receives over $1 billion annually from the Canadian government, a substantial sum that is meant to ensure the broadcaster can operate without commercial pressures. This funding model immediately raises concerns about editorial independence, as critics argue that financial reliance on the government could compromise journalistic integrity. Can a media organization truly hold the government accountable when it is reliant on that same government for its existence? This question is at the heart of the CBC conundrum. Furthermore, despite its massive public funding, the CBC struggles to attract a significant audience, raising questions about its relevance in the modern media landscape. Its news programs consistently lag behind private competitors in the ratings, suggesting that viewers may not find its content compelling or trustworthy. This begs the question, if the CBC is truly the champion of truth and accuracy, why are Canadians not flocking to it? Is it a matter of perception, or is there a deeper issue at play? Adding fuel to the fire are recent instances of the CBC demonstrating bias and even spreading disinformation, which have further eroded public trust. From uncritically platforming certain political viewpoints that align with government policies to retracting stories that proved embarrassing to the government, these actions have not gone unnoticed by the public. The CBC has shown a troubling tendency to toe the line, raising serious questions about its role as a public broadcaster. Poilievre's proposal, a step towards media accountability. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has made defunding the CBC a cornerstone of his platform. While this proposal has been met with fierce resistance from some quarters, it raises important questions about the role of government in media. Should taxpayers be forced to prop up a media organization that many Canadians do not trust or consume? Wouldn't the CBC be better served by a funding model that encourages it to be more responsive to the needs and interests of Canadians? A future for CBC without government strings. Defunding the CBC does not equate to silencing it. Instead, it opens up new avenues for growth and sustainability. The CBC could explore alternative funding models such as subscriptions, philanthropy, or even advertising. These models have been successfully adopted by other media organizations worldwide. This would force the CBC to become more competitive and innovative, ultimately benefiting both the organization and Canadians. A more dynamic CBC could better serve the public interest. The fight against disinformation requires a multifaceted approach. It's not just about the media, it's about educating the public as well. It demands critical thinking skills from citizens, responsible reporting from journalists, and a commitment to truth. And a media landscape that is diverse and independent. A variety of voices and perspectives is crucial for a healthy democracy. The CBC, in its current form, is not the solution to this complex challenge. It needs to evolve to meet modern demands. It's time for a new conversation about the future of public broadcasting in Canada, one that prioritizes accountability, transparency, and genuine editorial independence. Only then can we ensure a robust and trustworthy media environment for all Canadians.